From reading Hawkeye comics to marathoning Season 3 of Game of Thrones, find out what Denny and the guys have been up to on today's Variant Edition.
Hey everybody, welcome to Variant Edition. Here today with Derek Bailey, first time on the show, and Adam Lugaville, old vet at this point.
Hi, Internet.
So today's kind of a catch-up day. We're going to be talking about what we've been doing. There isn't one particular thing we're going to review, but we'll just see what everyone's been up to as far as games, TV shows, movies, whatever we feel like talking about. So let's start over here with Derek. What have you been up to?
Stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
No.
Keep him busy with the stuff.
Yeah. No. Recently, this week, I just got done drafting with Adam and Denny. Modern Masters. It's a Magic the Gathering. It's a new set from Magic the Gathering.
So
it was tons of fun, but
tons of fun
the one time I'm going to do it.
Right. So Modern Masters, we've talked about Magic a few times on the show, and we'll try not to get to insider baseball with it like we do every single time, and it becomes boring. But so Modern Masters is a set that is basically has been released to put older cards back into circulation, so maybe the prices will drop on them and people can have easier access to formats that require those cards. So the thing that Derek said he's not going to draft it very often is because it's very expensive. Yeah. So what's the price of a pack?
It was supposed to be $6.99. That's the retail.
Right. So that's double the price, basically. Well,
a little less than double
the price of what a standard Magic the Gathering pack would cost. Yeah. But right, so it's incredibly fun because you get to play with a lot of these cards that you've heard people talk about for years, or maybe if you played Magic back with it over the last 10 years, you played the cards yourself. But I had a lot of fun drafting it. I haven't been playing a whole lot of Magic lately, but I came out just for the chance to play with those cards. I drafted a Goblins deck and smacked Derek in the face with some Goblins for a while.
Repeatedly, yes.
So I enjoyed it. I don't think I'll play it again either, just because of the price barrier. But what did you guys think of it?
Well, that's the whole downfall of this set to me. I mean, it's so fun, and they spent so much. I don't know how much time they spent actually making it balanced and whatnot. I mean, they're having a whole Grand Prix just based on this set, so obviously it's somewhat balanced. We're not going to draft it that much to figure it out, but that's the whole problem of it to me. Is like from a business standpoint with Wizards of the Coast. I don't know why they chose to do it the way they did, and I think a lot of people...
So the issue is, that we didn't really talk about, is that they did not print very much of the product.
Yeah. Right.
At $6.99 a pack, that's actually not unreasonable because the cards are so good. So I think that people would buy a ton of it at $6.99. The problem is that there's so little that is not the price that it's selling for.
Right.
The store that I work at, we're selling it for $10.99, and I think we're actually on the low end. So if you were to buy a box online, typically you'd be paying about $300 for a box.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive. So that's about like $200 more than you would pay for a standard box usually.
Yeah. And remember that a box of Modern Masters only has 24 packs, whereas a normal box of Magic product has 36. So you're paying $200 more and getting 12 less packs.
Right.
It's very expensive, and there's not a lot of it coming out.
Right. But we all clearly recommend it. If you get a chance to play it and you can afford to, and you can actually find the packs, it's definitely fun. I would definitely recommend drafting it or something. Don't just buy the packs and open them, because you're kind of just wasting your time. You pay that much money, you should get some kind of entertainment out of it.
And you might as well actually experience what Wizards of the Coast was trying to do with it, which is make it a draftable format.
Right.
Cool. So how about you? What have you been up to aside from drafting Modern Masters?
Well, I've been really enjoying the new Hawkeye comic.
Oh yeah. Everybody in the world is enjoying the new Hawkeye comic.
I wouldn't say that it's new at this point, but it is still a spectacular thing that we haven't talked about on Variant Edition yet.
Yeah. So the new-ish Hawkeye, within the last 2 years, I'd say it's maybe 14, 15 issues in?
Somewhere in that.
So it's been around for a little more than a year now. Written by Matt Fraction and drawn by David Aja?
Yep.
Right, David?
There's actually two artists that are sort of trading off, but he's the primary artist on the book.
Right. So this book is amazing. Derek, you're reading it as well, right?
I read it. Yeah. So I don't have that much background in it, but from previous comics, but yeah.
So
it was really good.
When I kept hearing everyone on the internet talk about this book and how amazing it was, and I missed the first few issues, so I waited for the first trade paperback to come out, and I highly, highly recommend it to everyone. No matter what kind of comic book reader you are, I think you're going to love this book. Yeah. When I read it, I kept telling people that it reminded me of reading Ultimate Spider-Man for the first time, like 10 years ago, or probably like 15 years ago now, maybe. It's been a long time. Yeah. But it's just like pure joy of comics. Like, it's superheroes punching people, and it's characters being cute with each other and funny, and there's like this whole spy espionage kind of side to it that kind of appeals to me a lot. The premise of the book is this is what Hawkeye does when he's not off with the Avengers.
Yeah.
So it's like he's trying to relax and play with his dog, and all these terrible things keep coming up, and he has to keep saving people's lives.
And the thing about Hawkeye that works so well is every aspect of the comic is well done. It's written very, very punchy and fun. The art is gorgeous with this real minimalist aesthetic to it. The color palette is really unique, and I don't even talk about color palettes that often when I'm discussing comics, but they just do such an interesting, almost indie comic thing with such a big Marvel book.
Right.
It's awesome. It is selling gangbusters, which is a really, really good thing for comics in general.
Right.
And,
It
it's awesome.
nominated for a ton of Eisner Awards, I think. I'll post a list up on Facebook or something so you guys can check it out, but it was nominated in a ton of categories, so I'm hoping that it kind of sweeps it a little bit.
And it also has the most instances of the word bro in any comic I've ever read.
There's a lot of broing out in that book, for sure.
That was the first one? Was it
The first story arc, yeah.
The Russian bro guys are going to be there the whole time, don't worry. They'll be there in volume 2 as well.
Right. So anything else? You've been playing anything else or watching?
I mean, I've been, I got a 3DS not too long ago.
Cool.
Kind of have some extra money now that I have a different job.
Yeah.
Still working at a comic shop, but I also have a different job. And so I bought myself a 3DS. I've been playing Fire Emblem, and I just got the new Animal Crossing game.
Nice.
And that's all I really need on my 3DS. I pretty much
Right.
can't play anything else.
So your 3DS is already getting more play than my Wii U has gotten in over a year.
That is 100% true.
Someday a game will come out, and it will be amazing.
Adam has already played more on his 3DS than anybody has played on the Wii U.
Yeah, that's like
probably
of
true.
all people who own the Wii U, I've still played my 3DS more.
It seems likely. Cool. I played Tomb Raider recently, which is, I mean, it's been a while, so that game's a little old now. You probably are all already talked about, but I loved it. So I feel like it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, I watched it.
I watched someone on YouTube play it. You know, I didn't really have time to get into it myself.
No, it had good story. You know, it's like the typical platformer, like
Right.
learn this new skill, try it out on this wall, like
Yeah.
you know. But it was fun. It was
There's
good,
definitely a lot of that.
It was a good waste of time.
Yeah, for sure. So I enjoyed that. Upon recording this, Game of Thrones Season 3 has just ended last week, so I was definitely watching that. I think everyone here was watching that together, probably.
Maybe in this room.
Maybe in this exact room. Right, so what did you guys think of Game of Thrones Season 3? We don't have to get into like a super detailed analysis of the season, but did you guys enjoy it?
Derek, your opinion here is actually really relevant because you haven't read the books, whereas Denny and I have
Right.
both read everything that happened. So what did you think?
I thought it was good.
No,
it was
Man
like
of many words.
it was. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened, right?
Yeah.
And recently, it's been really tough. They've been, you know, it's like storyline. It's like they just keep going.
Yeah.
Super quick. I think they're doing a very good job of managing all that. But it's tough. It's tough coming off an episode like, and there's no way around it because that's how the books were. But coming off an episode like the one just before it, where so much stuff happened, right?
And then you have to set up.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, we're just gonna, we're gonna wrap everything up here, and it's like you're still like your jaws drop because
Right.
of what just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
So.
I think they made some really interesting decisions with the season finale. With the last two episodes, by having the penultimate episode of the season be the big dramatic
Red
shocker. Yeah, the Red Wedding. And then, like, how do you top that? I mean, you don't, basically.
Right.
Because the next episode is, kind of, like you said, tying up loose ends. Some exciting things happen, but you can't really make it more exciting than that. So I feel like they didn't shoot themselves in the foot as far as I'm concerned, because everyone is going to watch the next season anyway, but everyone also complained that, like, why was the second last episode of the season finale instead of the actual season finale, which I think is an understandable complaint.
I think it's really interesting to talk to someone like Derek who hasn't read the books because,
I don't know how to read.
like, no. But there are a lot of storylines going on, a lot of different plot elements, and to me, watching the show, I sort of miss some of the other complexities in the book,
Right.
but I can't even imagine how overwhelming that stuff actually appears on a show when you might only see a character for like 10 minutes over the course of 4 episodes, and then you're supposed to remember what they were doing in the next episode. And that is a very jarring thing, I would think. But I think that this show has been great.
I
love season
definitely,
3.
it wasn't. I think it took like the normal story arc, like have a big, big finish, and then kind of let everybody down, or kind of take everybody out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, I think, because when reading the books, it's like book 3 is the payoff book. Books 1 and 2, a lot of action happens, but it's a lot of setup. And then book 3 is just all about like all of these stories kind of tying up, and all these things have been waiting to happen finally happen. So it was exciting to watch everyone watch this season, and I mean it was exciting for me to watch it too. But I just talking to people who haven't read the book about their reaction to like the Red Wedding and things like that, it was just so exciting.
Yeah.
So,
As
yeah.
someone who hasn't read book 5, what did you think of the elements in season 3 that were clearly not from the books that you have read so far?
They were confusing. It's strange to watch the show and not know what's happening because I have always felt so ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But so what I'm talking about, and I don't think it's supposed to say that. I don't think it's supposed to say this, is that everything with Theon in this book, or in everything with Theon in season 3, is not from book 3, and it's not from book 4 either.
Right.
So I felt a little bit like things had been spoiled for me because you know when I was reading the books, when someone dies in Game of Thrones, you know, you don't necessarily 100% believe that they're dead, but the game or the show and books aren't above just killing someone off. So there was a big part of me that thought Theon was dead, that he died in Winterfell, and we just never saw it because that's just how the show is. People die off screen all the time.
Yeah.
So when he came back, I was like, oh man, it would have probably been cool if I would have read that in the book first. So it was a little frustrating, but I understand, especially with actors and contracts and things like that he's already in the show. They want to keep him in the show if he's going to have to come back at some point.
Sure.
But it definitely took me by surprise, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that they did it. It's just, I imagine it's a little bit weird. And it is weird because the show is its own universe. Like, anything that happens on the show isn't necessarily a spoiler for the books.
Right.
But it does feel, anytime something different happens, like, oh, is that a spoiler? Like, have I been spoiled for something?
Right.
Like,
that's exactly how I felt. I don't know if they're just changing things or if it's spoilers or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the season a lot. I think that everyone's already watching the show, so I really don't even need to recommend it to anybody.
But if you're not, it is quite good.
Yeah, definitely catch up. All right, cool. So I think that's about everything we've been getting into. So we'll see you next time.
It's red.
Oh, lights! Just put your crotch right on me if you could.
Wow.
We're pretty cozy.
The opposite of how this should actually.
Ew. I worry that we're a little cozy.
Beautiful.
Wow, yeah, now we're definitely a little cozy. Darius Targaryen.
I've given up on the names.
Targaryen.
Alright,
We good?
Internet.
I'll start with this.
YouTube personalities.
Variant edition. Nobody cares about the intros.
No.
Alright, Modern Masters
Good.
is a thing.
Hang on. We have
He's
to.
gotta do an
I have to start the episode.
Modern Masters is a thing. I was just saying it. Is that not the intro? I like it.
Oh, how am I going to introduce Derek? Just this Derek band I'm not going to say from...
Hold on, like this.
It's
It's like
this
the
Adam
you better
Luna
start
Bell
good. Whoa!
and Derek Bailey. It came out of my crotch.
Stormborn.
No,
Ironborn.
Ironborn.
How beautiful it is.
That would have to be a separate YouTube.
Derek, are you gonna buy the Witcher franchise while it's on sale this weekend? 66% off.
What's out?
Witcher and Witcher 2.
I already have them.
Okay, then I guess you're not gonna buy them for sale.
I don't need it then.
Cavill.
Cavill, like travel with a...
Yeah, we're recording.
We're recording. That's
All right. Oh my goodness.
Could you guys move apart just a tad?
How so?
Yeah,
Like
just
move
the
our
actual
chairs?
chairs?
Yeah.
That's
Like
better.
Adam just to the left a little.
To the left. To
Yeah.
your left.
Yeah.
Stage right. Derek's new to theater.
Like
Little.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's like a flash.
That'd be good.
Whoa!
Hey.
If that doesn't end up on the internet, there's something wrong with you.